Let's go right ahead, right? Founder-led sales, what does that mean? I'm sure that we've heard this term before now, right? It simply means that the founder of a business or currently building, it simply means that the founder of the business is the one driving, initiating, and leading sales. All right, especially in early stage startups, it's very common for us to. It's very common, for us to experience the fact that or hear founder-led sales, and I would say that it's very important for founders and entrepreneurs, business owners, to be the one leading sales for their business. But something that we find is that a lot of founders are not very comfortable with sales, and I've been there before, right? One of the things that really inspired me, to start this project was the fact that I saw the gap. I saw the gap in being of entrepreneurs, being finding sales very difficult, finding engaging customers, engaging people about their products very, very, very difficult. I started out. I had my first startup back. I used to be in Port Harcourt. I had my first startup around 2017, and it was a real estate marketplace, and it took a lot for me to get into the space of marketing. I always saw myself as the one that is behind the curtains. I like to be in the background. I don't like to talk to people. I don't like to associate with people and all of that. But I had to come to the reality that and the understanding that if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I have to come to the forefront, and actually own my sales. Now, it's also very common for people to tell you that, oh, just have money and hire salespeople, hire people that will run sales for you. But the truth is that, and if you're reading some of the books that are recommended in the group, right, you would see, and it's often advised that even though you're going to hire salespeople in the future, as an entrepreneur, as the business owner, it's important that you own sales. It's important that you get comfortable with sales, you get used to sales. All right. It doesn't matter if you're going to bring a big expert for sales, but you yourself, you need to get used to sales. And it doesn't matter if you're a technical person. Sometimes people say, I'm a technical person, I don't know how to do the I don't know how to do sales. I just want to build and I want somebody else to sell. But if at the point of that conversation, you don't have a partner that will sell with you, I mean a partner, I mean a co-founder, not someone you hired, it's important that you begin to learn sales. If not, your business, might cry because of just the fact that you don't understand sales and you don't want to embrace it. So, in this session, I would be unpacking founder-led sales, and really it's more about important points that we'll be discussing, not any jargon that is out there. Just important points we'll be discussing because there are already like a lot of information in the internet today. So I'm not about to overload us or load us with a lot of more information, but just for us to discuss important points, especially as regards, being a founder that drives sales. And if you're somebody that is not comfortable, driving sales for your business, or you've been thinking about it, how am I going to distribute my product? How am I going to sell my product? I'm a solo founder, or my business is still growing. I don't have the money to invest in sales and marketing. What am I going to do, right? So these are some of the things that we're going to be discussing today, right? So as said, we're going to discuss one, founder-led psychology. What does that mean? How does a founder that is leading sales supposed to think, right? And then we're also going to be discussing building a scalable sales system. And then we're also going to be also discussing prioritizing sales as a founder with a 90 to 20 sorry, 80 to 20 rule. All right. So when I say founder-led psychology, what does that mean? What does that mean? All right. Um, what does that mean? It means that I'm talking about a founder that leads and champions sales. Even if you're planning on having a sales team tomorrow, even if you're planning on having a champion salesperson tomorrow, but you would keep, driving and being at the center of your sales. You keep driving and being at the center, of your customer acquisition. That's what, a founder-led psychology is all about, right? Then number two is that the founder is confident about his product. What does it mean to be confident about your product? Because there are so many entrepreneurs and founders that don't know that they are not confident about their product, right? Number three is product in and out, right? And is the thing about saying that an entrepreneur is the best person to sell his product, because um, a bit. Most of us are not clear about our why. What does it mean to be clear about your why? Why are you doing what you're doing in this part of the world? Some of us, not just in this part of the world, I think everywhere actually. Most business people might tell you, okay, I'm doing this for the money. But what else aside from the money? Why are you doing this? If you're able to define why you're doing it apart from the money, right, it will motivate you to go further than the money. It will motivate you to think outside the box when the money is not on the table, right? So and if you're able to find out your clear why, you would also be have the guts and the motivation to keep going even when it seems like you're not getting the yes that you deserve, right? And the reason why a lot of people get discouraged is because they don't really have a clear why as to why they are doing what they are doing. That's why when things are not working out, you get discouraged. But if you begin to take every response as a feedback, then you will stop seeing it, seeing a no response as an attack to you, or as an attack, to your competence, as the case may be. So why you should not be afraid of selling, right? I mean, for some of us who've been there, you're afraid of selling. It's just not your thing. What are you going to do, right? And that feeling of um, I spoke to 3 people about the product. I spoke to 20 people about the product, and they said no, right? Then another one, you feel like a scam. Another one, you don't really like talking to people, and there's a reason why I put it like this here. I said you don't really like to talk to people, but you want their money. It's really interesting. You want people's money, but you don't want to talk to people. We are in an age where, right, if you're selling digitally, then you actually need to be able to come out digitally and interact with people. There was a time before the internet where if you had to sell, you were either speaking to someone on the phone or you were going face to face, to talk to people. Our bankers still do that today. They go to offices, they talk to people one-on-one. So there was a time where physical interaction was very important for sales. Now it might have moved to, oh, you can sell digitally. But even though we can sell digitally, people still want to experience that physical interaction. However, you can give them that, personal feel. They want to be able to experience it, right? Most people would not buy from a business that they don't feel, a personal touch from, right? That is why videos would always perform better than flyers. That is why using a normal human being to do a content would always perform better than using an avatar, right? Or using AI to do your content, because people still want to interact with people, right? Then, the feeling, your feeling of not being confident about sales, honestly, it's just a feeling, right? And it can change. it can be revamped. You can, rewire your brain to actually love sales, to actually embrace selling your product. If you just begin to think about it differently, right? How can you shift your brain to begin to see sales differently, to begin to see talking to customers about your product differently? I mean, you spent hours designing this product, you spent hours designing this service, whatever it is, you spend hours designing it. So, you must rewire your brain to, shift it from wondering if people would, want it or not, to understanding that you have something to give. You have something to give about being that product that you're selling. So I said there's the feeling, right? And then there's the real problem. This is the real problem. The real problem is that you are not confident about your product, what is out there, and why you're different. That is the real problem, right? Because if you're proud of your outfit, if you're proud of anything that you have, you would not be, I don't want to use the word afraid now, you will not be concerned about putting it out there or stepping out there with it. You'll be proud, of what you have designed, right? And this, again, is still pointing out to why, right? Most of us design a product, we design a solution, we design a concept, but we never ask ourselves, why am I doing this? You never ask yourself, why am I selling houses, right? Why am I building this product to transform the transport industry? You never ask yourself the why behind it. You can say the what at the top of your head. If they ask you, what does this product do? This product can climb mountains and, do this, can change this, can change that. But if they ask you, why are you doing it? It's kind of difficult to answer, because why makes you get into the problem. Why makes you think deep, right? It makes you question your motives. But there's something that defining your why does. It also helps you it helps you refine your offer, so much so that if you can get and gain clarity with your why, I promise you, your product would only evolve and continue to meet needs of people. Your why can help you meet the solution that you want to give to people. I'll give you an instance. Viable quests. We're building a tool, right, that helps early stage founders, that helps founders in general, particularly early stage founders, meet customers, get customers in minutes, book sales and close sales in minutes. But as beautiful as that word is, the why behind the product is that we want to help founders solve the problem of sales, right? I am deeply concerned about the fact that there is a high risk of business failure. And one of the reasons for high risk of business failure is poor product market fit. Why? Why is there poor product market fit? Most founders, we start talking to customers very late in the product. We start engaging customers very late in the product. We start selling very late in the product, right? Because coming back to the fact that a lot of people, are detached. A lot of founders are detached from selling. A lot of founders don't understand the concept of selling, and that is really understandable, because it's not that you're a salesperson. You just had this idea. Probably you're a technical person and you just had this idea and you want to solve it. But the truth is that no matter who you are, no matter how good you are in whatever skill that you are doing, you are first a salesperson. Do you understand? I like the way Gary Gart puts it in his book. He said, you can have 99 problems, but sales should not be one of them. Sales should not be one of the problems that you're having. So understanding your why would motivate you to talk to customers early. Then number two, I said the real problem is that you don't believe that you have a unique voice or a different solution to give. Understanding your why would help you define your unique solution. It will help you understand what you can do differently, right? Because if you still think that there is a problem, then definitely you're still seeing a gap. Even as small as selling t-shirts, you can understand and you can define why you are different in selling t-shirts. You can understand why you're different in fashion. You can understand why you are different, how you are different in selling real estate, food, whatever. When you understand your why are you doing what you're doing? There's no food in this area. The food in this area is often it's not of good quality, right? So already you can easily, define and, narrow down your own solution, what you will be doing differently. And again, it now ties you back to the fact that once you begin to understand why you're different, once you begin to understand why you deserve a seat at the table, right? Once you begin to understand why people need to hear you, people need to see your product, right? Once you begin to understand that people need to use your product, you will begin to find the confidence for your product, right? If you see your product as, my product is not a nice to have, my product is a must have. Do you understand? You feel like, if businesses don't use this, my product, they are disadvantaged. So it's like if somebody tells you no, you would be concerned for the person. You're like, why are you telling me no? Like, this thing it will be very good for you. Do you understand? Then it will motivate you to even go further to ask the person, why are you not using this? Because you begin to see that you genuinely want to help people. You genuinely want to help customers. You genuinely want to, solve a problem with the product that you're offering. So, understanding your why is very important. Then next, if you're proud of something, of course, you'll be confident about it. You don't feel that your pricing is a steal, right? There's some people that will set pricing and then they begin to feel like they are scamming people. You begin to feel like, it's pricing. Are you sure people will pay for this? Of course, depending on your market, you have to set your price depending on your market, right? But overall, the value that you're giving, you should be able to see your value. You should be able to believe in your value. You should be able to look at your value and be like, anybody that uses this app at this price, in fact, this person is going to enjoy, this person is going to get this benefit. So if you build your product, or you understand your product and understand your why in such a way that you see it as something giving extreme value to people, right? And in fact, people are getting benefits of you. Like people are, like that kind of feeling. You feel like people are even ripping you off. It gives you a lot, a huge confidence to communicate and talk about your product, in such a way that everybody sees that you're very confident about this product and the value that it is bringing. All right. I've stayed so much on this why for a reason, because it forms the basis of everything that you do. It forms the basis of, of your your offers. It forms the basis of your scripts, everything that you go on to develop in sales. Understanding your why forms the basis of that. And I hope that we have the time to delve into breaking down our why. Like personally, delve into your why, spend time, draft it, craft it, understand it, question yourself until you're very convinced that you have a strong why, like you have a strong motive, a reason why you're doing what you're doing. At this point, I just want to allow us to ask questions if you have any before we move on. Are there questions? You can just drop in the comment section, or you just go ahead and unmute and ask if there are any questions. All right. So I'll be moving on to, okay. Hi, Rashid. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question.
So, sorry, I don't know if you are going to talk about this if I actually say it here. The thing is, having a product of your own, yeah, is actually like having a product whereby you want to actually push to the market. It's like, are you talking about having a product you actually want to push to the market, or having a product as a startup? Like now, you're not looking for who to like, you understand, like just on board as a basically a financer or an angel investor, which like, or can you just apply both as a founder to to these different aspect of founder lead you've actually mentioned?
Yes, all can be applied because whether you're looking for investors, right, or you're drafting a marketing script for an ad to get customers, right, or you're posting in a community, understanding your why, right, and getting confident about the value that you're pushing out there, it would really help you, convince anybody, right? If you're speaking to someone that is confident, is very, if you're someone that is very passionate about what they are, trying to do, it's very obvious, right? And I'm sure that you might have heard Steve Jobs say this a lot about passion, talking about why you should be passionate about your project, right? That passion comes from the why. If you understand why you're doing, like the motive behind it, apart from money, right? It helps you craft your communication better. And even when you get a lot of rejections, it helps you stay on the course, right? Also talking about um, products, right? Software products, right? It will also help you in iteration, right? Because, solving a problem is bigger than a feature. You understand? If you're solving a problem, right, let's say I want to make it easy for founders to pay less for cloud subscription, right, cloud server subscription, right? I might have a feature that is still costing them more, or it's costing them average, right, or it's costing them, let's say, 20K, and that 20K is still almost equals to what AWS is charging them. Then I've not solved the problem, right? So it makes you tie whatever you are offering, whatever value you are giving back to the customers at all time, right? I don't know if that was clear, Rashid. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So I'll be moving on to building a scalable sales system. So again, these are just important points I wanted to note, right? Be obsessed about, like, things you should be obsessed about when building scalable sales system. So I'm confident about the product I'm selling, right? I'm building, and I've understood my why and all of that. How now do I build a system around my startup, right? How do I build a system around my business, right? There are certain things that you should be obsessed about. Number one is numbers, right? I'm not always obsessed about numbers, but numbers are very important. Now, if you're pitching to an investor, if you're talking to, even before you start the concept of a business, you must ask yourself one number that is very important is your market size. How big is the market that you're selling to? Is there even a market for it? This are some of the things that numbers will help you understand. Within numbers, we also have conversion rates, right? Like, so many people are selling, right, but they have no idea about conversion rates. What do I mean by conversion rates, right? Is the amount of people that you should expect to naturally convert when you reach a large number of people, right? So say I talk to 20 people about my product. There are so many founders that get grumpy when out of the 20 people they spoke to, only 5 or only 2 responded, right? But they forget, and and the reason why they get grumpy is because they don't understand conversion rates, right? Ideally, in a large sample size, probably you have 150, 200, whatever the case, only about 10% or 9% of people that you talk to, would naturally convert. So let me, I'll just show you guys some metrics that I had um, outlined here for us, and then we'll come back to this. So I said here, average CTR, that's impression to clicks for meta ads now, is 0.9% to 1.2% across industries. Like, you can just check this on Google. So if you're running an ad, let's say you run an ad and you spend a budget of 500, 200, 100K, someone would look at the fact that, okay, I spent 100K on an ad and I just got 100%, or I got 50% or 100% to send me a message, depending on what you're selling, right? And out of those 100% that send me a message, only 20 people that only 20 people, only 10 people, in fact, bought my product, or only 10 people signed up, and you are angry and worried, and you're telling yourself that this thing I'm doing is not working. But you have not, understood what the conversion rate of meta ads is, even before running meta ads, right? Right. I hope you get what I'm saying. Now, going further, do you know that it takes an average of 8 attempts to reach a decision maker, right? So you're telling yourself that I have to close this company, right? I have to see the CEO of this company. And then it's like, it's very difficult to see the CEO of this company, right? But you've not asked yourself, what exactly is it going to take me to see the CEO of this company? Same thing for cold calling. Sales conversion of cold calls, right, is around 2.7 to 11.3%. So somebody that is converting at a rate of 11.3% is like a cold calling expert. Do you understand? What I'm trying to point to us is this. If you understand metrics and conversion rates, you be less anxious and angry. Like, you will now understand that if people are not maybe buying your products, right, or the customers are not coming, it's not about you. It's not because they don't like you. Do you get? It's not because there's something wrong with your product. It might just be, that's something that you need to look at as well, right? Our focus is on sales. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about how good your product is. I'm assuming that your product is fantastic. It will just be that your problem is that you have not really looked at the numbers. You don't understand that you have not reached enough people to expect the kind of conversion you are expecting, right? So to expect certain conversions, to expect certain results, you need to ensure that you're maximizing your reach, right? You need to ensure that you're reaching enough people to expect certain results, right? They always say that at least if you're expecting to close, 10 people, then reach, 1,000 people, right? Reach 1,000 people. You're expecting to close 10 people. If you're expecting to close, 100 people, you have to reach 1,000,000 people, right? So when you understand your reach, when you understand metrics and conversion rates, then you will now begin to understand that some of the things that you thought that it was about the product, it was about the fact that you did not just maximize your reach. All right, going further, you also need to get obsessed about your channels. Which channels are going to work for you? Which channels have you been using? How many channels are you using, right? It's not efficient to just use one channel, right? But a lot of people, start with one channel. Are you doing calls? Are you doing calls? Are you doing cold callings? Are you doing email? Are you doing ads? Are you doing messaging? What are the channels? So these are the things that you need to draft, get obsessed by them, and you start planning on them. And you also know that there are some channels where you won't find your customers, right? So establish your channels, right? And start going in on them, right? And I wrote something at the other slide. It's important that You don't get right. You don't get carried away by every fancy new idea out there. Somebody will just post, I closed a deal of $1 million on LinkedIn just by DMs or just by message. You now run, oh, it's LinkedIn that is working. Oh, let me leave this one I'm doing. And then you've now run to LinkedIn and you've abandoned the one you were doing before. That is not the way. So I wrote here, a straight path is an outlier. What I'm just trying to say here is that a miracle is an outlier. A rough path is the normal, right? But we often want to switch it because someone sells you that I made $10 million in 10 days, and then you leave a basic strategy to chase a shiny object. Sales is very practical. It's not a miracle. So someone can have a miracle, like someone can have a good day in sales, right? But if that person cannot explain his strategy, my brother, my sister, don't get consumed and obsessed by it. Just know that it just happened, but it is not a standard. It is not a given that it will just happen like that. Oh, someone just reached out to me, someone just paid for this, I didn't even do anything. It is not a standard, right? So our discussion is about the standards, like what is proven to work over and over again, a system that you can set. Get obsessed about your scripts and your copies, your offers, your buyer circle, your sales pipeline, your goals, right? If you've not drafted these things I'm talking about, it doesn't even matter if you're still in build stage, start drafting them already. I have like 2 pages of one-liners. I have pages, I have a full page of a 5-minute pitch, a 1-minute pitch, different pitches for different situations. Like, these are not things that you wait, like you just come up with when somebody asks you, you just say something different. They should be planned for, they should be planned for. So obsess about these details, right? And these are items that, they all have their own depth, right? Go over I hope that in the coming sessions, we'll have the time to discuss, in depth about what everyone is doing, about these details, how we're working on each of these details. And we can even pitch, among ourselves, and strengthen our pitches, our offers, our sales pipeline to strengthen what we're doing, in our respective businesses, and startups. These, we can't go into all of them now because these are like different sessions on its own, but I wanted you to know that this is what you should be obsessed about. And if you have not planned around them, like, start planning around and create a whole document and plan around them. I've said that we'll be sharing a sales pipeline template, right, a systems template after this session. So we'll definitely do that. We'll share that session, template after this session. All right. So once you have set up a system or documented those points that I've shared, those activities that I've shared, you have your offers, you have your channel, the channels, you understand your numbers, you understand the metrics, you know exactly what to expect, you have set your goals, set bold and audacious goals. I remember in the previous place I was working, I had to manage the sales team for a while, and I had a database, of some clients that we needed to reach out, right? So they were doing cold calling every day, and they kept saying that people were not, responding to them, because the next stage of the sales funnel was that a client they were reaching out to is supposed to book, a meeting with them, right? And then they come over to the client's office to, do a presentation, right? It was a software tool for real estate management. So the idea is that we'll call them, book a meeting, and then go to their office, right, for presentation. So the sales team kept saying that, these people were not even speaking to them. They'll be like, oh, I'll call you back. Once they start talking, oh, I'll call you back. A lot of people experience that. So what did I do? When I came in, I looked at the scripts they were using, and I was like, I don't think this script will work. So I looked at it, I redrafted the script, the call script, made it very short, went straight to the point about what we wanted. And I tried calling like 5 people first. and I noticed that the connection was great, I was already booking meetings. And then I told them, let's use the script, right? So what it went from people were just calling around 15 people a day, 20 people a day. I told them that if you follow this script, you can call 50 people a day. Like, these people would respond because it is like a more shorter script, straight to the point, right? And then people were responding, right? So what happened there was a simple change, right, in one thing, right? And then a mindset that if you actually plan yourself, right, if you plan yourself, you would be able to do so much in such a short time when you plan yourself, when your numbers are monitored, when you obsess about the things that you're obsessed about. So instead of giving up when you hear a no, what a no should rather do for you is that it should, it should make you ask, what am I doing that is not working, right? What might be wrong with maybe my script or my offer, right? Or my communication, or the steps I'm using, to speak to these clients, right? So if you get into the details, you will definitely, see and understand what to change, right? So once that is outlined, it's time for you to understand how to prioritize, sales activities as a founder, right? If you know what the 80-20 rule is, it's simply understanding that the greater part of your results, right, is mostly it's mostly gotten or achieved by like 20% of your effort, right? So what that means is that, like, you get to, there are things that you would spend or exert just 20% of your time on that would give you 80% of your revenue, for instance, right? So let's say, for instance, sales. I put sales there. There's some people that start their day as an entrepreneur. You start your day designing websites. Say you're a website designer, or you spend your day designing your clothes, or you spend your day building, coding. But as a founder, you don't realize that you're supposed to spend your day selling first. So if sales is the lifeblood of your business, I put it that prioritize sales because it's the lifeblood of your business. It keeps you going. Do you understand? So as a founder, sales and its related activities should be the first thing you do daily. It's not something that you can is not something that you can do for later. It's not something that you can outsource. Do you understand? Like, it's something that you have to prioritize later. So what I do is that I prioritize my sales for immediately. Like, I do it first thing in the morning, right? And I've also heard a former boss say the same thing. Like, I call people first thing in the morning because that's the most important thing that you're supposed to do for your business. Do you understand? So it shouldn't be the you do, like, it should be the very first thing that you do for the day, right? So if you have people to follow up, if you have to review your sales pipeline, if you have to learn about offers, scripting, sales should be the first thing you do because it's the lifeblood of your business. So you have people do production first, people do building first, people do every other thing first, and then they put sales last. But meanwhile, if you don't have money, the other things that you're running and won't be able to run. So you now need to ask yourself, how can I prioritize sales first? Like, how can I do sales first? Like, what time can I carve out for sales, right, in my day, so that I cannot exert my energy? Like, when you're sure that, oh, I've done the thing that will bring money to this business, I've done the thing that will keep me going, then you can now do the other things that you need to do. All right, I'll allow for questions at this point or comments.
Wanted to ask, yeah, when it comes to actually generating leads, like how do you generate? How do you get um, leads on specific industries you're aiming to target in this time? Because I've been finding it very difficult to actually generate Nigerian leads?
All right, hi Rashid. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that question. Right, so there are different ways you can generate leads. It's something that Bible is also trying to amplify. So if you've checked out, if you've not checked out Bible, you can just go and join the wait list. In a few days, we'll be launching. So you'll be able to find leads from Bible by just searching, signing up and searching your on the platform, depending on your lead criteria. It's quite easy to use. So you'll be able to find leads on Bible. And we're also offering free credits for new users. Apart from using Viable, the other ways that can be a bit challenging, is going to people's websites and going on LinkedIn. Okay, another hack is going on LinkedIn. You can go on LinkedIn and search for the people you're looking for, right? I don't know the business that you do, so let's just say that you're looking for people that okay, let me use founders are a bit easy. Maybe you're looking for investors per se, like you can just search for investors by saying something like find a company that is popular, that does investing and is popular, right, in Nigeria. I can't think of anyone now, but what you find is that most people, there's a tab on LinkedIn search that allows you to filter roles, job roles, right? So you can use that job roles tab, to now filter the kind of people that you're looking for, right? So it might not always give you phone numbers, because most of them might not, depending on the kind of people you're looking for, you might not be able to find their phone numbers there. You might be able to find their emails, you might not, but of course, about LinkedIn DMing. You can now begin to connect with them and then DM, them from LinkedIn. But that's something that we're doing at Viable Quest. We're making it easy for you to find people, right? So you can just simply go and sign up. You're on the wait list in a few days. I think in about 3 days or less would be launching our beta, and you'll be able to use it to just enter your markets, just enter your market criteria, and then you can access emails, you can access phone numbers, you can also access LinkedIn URLs. Like, so you want to move very fast, you don't want to start searching through pages one by one, you can just use Viable, and we have like 50 free credits that you can use on there. All right. I believe that answers your question. Any other question for me? Right. All right. So while we're waiting for questions, if there are none, if you're experiencing any challenge, in your business, are you still raising your hand, Rashid? This still raising his hand. All right. If you're experiencing any challenge in your business, right, and there's something that you want to reach out to me later for, you can always do that in the DMs. And we've also recorded this session, right, so that you can access them later. So I'll still be expecting questions both in the group or in the comment section, as the case may be. In our upcoming sessions, right, our weekly sessions like this is mainly an opportunity for people to just, ask questions, people to chit chat, people to talk about, challenges that they're currently facing in their business, right? But what I'm trying to evolve over time into is every month we're going to be having, actual sessions like this, like where we expand on certain things, right? So just as we went through today in an hour, we would have at least once every month where we're also going to be having guests. We're also going to be having guests come talk to us about, their sales experience, what they are doing right, what they're doing wrong, how we are all evolving and growing in the sales space. So expect more of that, right? All right. Blessing, you're raising your hand, please. You can go ahead. Okay. Is that a mistake? All right. Is there
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the session. I mean, it's been insightful. It looks like I know that okay, we are talking about sales, and you mentioned how that sales is the lifeblood of our business, and then you also spoke about some of the things that, as founders, we must pay attention to. But then it looks more like we are talking about the online way of probably distributing your product, or maybe getting it in people's faces and all of that. And so I feel like in as much as we must, in fact, we have to use like the online means that we have, but when it is that the kind of business you're building is something that you, or let me say that, um how exactly do you make the decision if it's something, if your business that you're doing is something that you should probably scale offline, maybe it should be more of offline than probably online, or a combination of both. I understand, like, okay, the market size, but let's say maybe, for example, you have an app and then you want people to like download the app. I understand that we can use the online channels, but probably the offline channel as maybe proven more effective, and then you are bootstrapping. So it's not like, because when it comes to like the online, it looks like, oh, you need money to run ads, you need money to do this, to do that, and all of that, and you want to run on a very lean budget. And so how exactly can we go about that so you don't have an investor, and then everything is probably like from your pocket and all of that? So how exactly do you know that, okay, I should focus more on offline, or I should do more of online and all of that? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So even in the example I had given earlier, we faced that kind of challenge. Let me just expand more on the product. So it is a real estate application. It's in the market. It's a real estate application that helps real estate agents, right, manage their properties, right? So we're targeting real estate professionals that like we're managing, houses in Ikoyi, houses in Lekki. Like these guys are big men, they're big guys. Most times you don't find them on Facebook and the likes. Like we're trying to, show them a different way of doing things. So it's more like we want to like revolutionize what they are used to, you get. So first is understanding the person or the people that you're reaching out to. Just like you have said, you're finding out that most of the people that you're reaching out to, they are not online. Some of them have Facebook accounts, but they are not active, right? So if you send them a message, they will never see it. You're saying that your distribution have to happen offline, right? But that happens again. First, you understand your customers, you understand the people that you're reaching out to. So once you've understood that, okay, these people are offline, what am I going to do? You have to find where they are. You have to ask yourself, where are they gathering? All right. So what we found is that most times those people, we can only find them in their events, and they have a lot of, we now found that they had a lot of, association, what they call it now, events with their associations, right? So we now found out that we had to penetrate these associations to get to them. So in terms of offline strategies, that is where partnership now came in, right? We now had to strategize how to partner with these associations to get to them. So maybe in your case, you're like, okay, I don't have funds, I don't have money to maybe go and sponsor an event, right? And then they put your brand name as event sponsor and they call you to come and talk about the product. You don't have money for that. So what do you do? But you can go to the event and you can give yourself a target. That I used to do it. I give myself a target that I'm going to go to 5 events this month or in the next 3 months. And then I'll go online and I'll search for events in Lagos, wherever, investors are close to me, most is about sales. You're going to spend some kind of money, maybe not a lot of money, right? So I search for these events because I know that I'm going to find my target people there. And by the way, most people that are offline, you find them a lot in events, so if you've not been taking advantage of events, do take advantage of events. Construction workers, they have construction events. Fashion, they have events. Founders, tech, they're always doing events. So manufacturer, cars, automobiles, they have events. So find these events early, plan to go, have a target for this event. In this event, I'm going to talk to 20 people. Right. Once you can talk to them, oh, can I have your phone number? Let me connect with you later. They are now in your lead system, right? And then you start reaching out, for to them from there. Sometimes it's just mapping it out, like in terms of the product I was talking about, while we're able to get their contacts online, right? These professionals, we had to finish the job on offline, right? They were just not on Facebook or on Twitter responding to DMs, or they didn't read their emails and the case. They had their PAs doing all those for them. So what we did is we got their phone numbers, booked meetings, and we just tried to get a day where they were in the office to do a presentation for them. Right. So it's either we are getting them, we are finding them in events, or we are getting their contacts and booking meetings with them. If it's marketplace, market women, you go to where they are. So the point is find where they are, and that's where your channels come into. You find where they are. A channel can be a marketplace. A channel can be a school. You want to reach school children, you go to the school. You want to reach pastors, you go to church. You want to reach market women, find female groups, women groups, as the case may be. So I hope that answers that question. Oh,
Thank you so much. Yes, it did.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so any other question? All right, so just once again, thank you guys, and we'll continue the conversation in the group. I talked about viable costs. I'll drop it in the group. I think most of us already know viable
Hi,
costs, but I'll say
I
all
wanted
right,
to ask about this viable. What's
all
it?
right,
What's it really about? How do you get
okay.
the lead? Are you connected to an API, or you just how does the lead come about exactly? I want to know about that.
Yeah, definitely. We are working with several APIs to yeah, to get data for that. Yes.
Okay, okay, that's amazing. That's cool. No problem. Just let us know when it's live. Let's check it out.
All right, definitely. Let's in a few days. In a few days, Vibe will be launching. All right. So thanks so much, everyone. I could say that, and please, I want us to tell other people that we think would benefit from this. Let's tell our friends. Anybody who think would benefit from this, let's talk to them about it. Let them join our community. As the community grows, we would still, find ways to make sure that everybody's getting value, and would expand to, a bigger platform to use. So let's have, in the absence of no more question, let's have a great evening. And I look forward to seeing us next Friday by 7 p.m. again. All right. Bye, and cheers, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.